So, M4, month 4, 2026, top 4 lessons of the month. And I chose the lessons from the perspective of, from my point of view, which of the lessons are the most important to be learned now and will have compounding effect on mm, the path that I'm going towards the goals that I have. And so basically, business success and also life success. It's life success is more important than business success, to be honest. So first lesson is that the 4X rule when you're planning schedules, timelines. Then there is how to avoid the hidden pain of legal battles. Draft your work like a painter if the outcome is yet to be defined. And then the last is that before you do business with anyone, what you should do with them. And so the 4X rule is that like I spend a lot of time on planning. Every week I plan, every day I plan, every month I plan, every quarter I plan, every year I plan. Um, I plan all these sequences, and there's a common pattern that I notice. So currently there is a variance. Sometimes I do faster, but most of the time the things take like 2 to 6x more time. So let's say 4x more time on average when I plan something. I'm talking about like weekly planning. Daily planning is often it's pretty accurate, but like weekly planning because there is many hidden variables that I don't yet know, and I'm yet to be learning, yet to be, yet to learn those. So therefore, um, it will take more time. And so my learning is that whenever you plan something, the more complicated the thing, the more hidden variables there are. So, as a general rule, apply 4x to your timelines so that you have enough time to learn those hidden variables that you don't yet uh, know about. And the steps are like, yeah, remember that there are hidden variables that you don't know. The more complex the work, the more of them there will be, and they will compound. They will not just add on, they will compound the complexity and the timeline of what you have to do. Step one. Step two is that like make your best step estimate, your best of your ability, and then last step is the like act 4x to your timeline and buffers to it. 4x buffers. Like if this is a week, give it 4 weeks, and so on. So that's it. Second lesson was that how to avoid the pain of the hidden pain of legal battles. So a person who has done 20 years in business said that they had um, 8 lawsuits last year, and if he would not have known the law and not have studied the law, he could not sleep at night. And then he said like um, the thing is like it will eat up your mm, shower time, when you look out from the window when you're driving your car, or when you're eating your dinner with your family, for example, that's the time it will cost for you to being in illegal battles. And so therefore, he argues that you should learn the law before that, and you don't want to do that because it's very, very painful. And it is very interesting. This isn't the first person I learned this from, the second person I learned this from. And both of those people said it's very, very painful to be in legal battles. And I've been in a little bit, but I know that it's painful. So my learning is that go up and beyond to study the law and understand it before you do business, before you do contracts. So know your playground before you play in the playground. Like know the rules of the game before you play the game. That's the learning. And the specific steps are that, all right, so something is coming up that you are not fully sure on how the loss will go in it, right? So what do? You spend 1 to 2 hours every evening to study that specific law on how it goes. And how you do it is by you tell AI the law that you want to study about, then you give it a prompt that will make it into format that you can understand, and it makes the law practical. On like, what does it mean to you? What does the law mean to you? What you can do and what you cannot do, which is problematic. Okay, then you study the output. You ask from the AI clarifications if there's any unclear, and in the end, after you study that thing, you make a checklist for yourself. This is a simplified version of that whole documentation, and you make sure that you understand. You put your understanding in the checklist of the laws. Then you store both to your companies, your personal folder documentation, and organize all the laws there. And the last step is that you want to have a lawyer to confirm that those laws are correct before you do anything major with those things. So the cost of messing it up is higher than hiring a lawyer to check the laws. And when the lawyer does, make sure that it's kept simple. Okay. Then the third lesson, draft it like a painter when you don't know what you're gonna do yet. So I thought of there's often work that I do, and I'm like, I've no clue on how to do it yet, but I'm just figuring it out. And the best way I find is not when it's like, okay, I'm trying to make it perfect immediately. No, no, that's a horrible idea. The best way to do it is by like, okay, this is what I want. Drafting it, okay. Then clarifying part by part what it needs to contain, what is unclear, and then clarify one part at a time, and then it becomes clear in time. So that works, I find. So my learning is that when you do something where the outcome is yet to be defined, draft it like a painter, layer by layer. And the steps for this is that like, okay, understand that drafting layer by layer is easier for you because you don't yet know what you want for the things that you don't want, basically. This is what it. Then second step is like write what do you know about it? What define what you have, what comes out kind of easily. Okay, once you have that first draft, okay, then you choose one part that is unclear and you start to specify it. And then once nothing comes out for that part anymore, then you specify the next part. Same process. Repeat that process. Layer by layer, you specify it more and more. Yeah. And then the fourth lesson is that, yeah, this is very, very important, but probably the most important. These are not in the importance order. This is a very important lesson. So before you do business with anyone, what you should do is that, like, I learned this from a person who has done business with many, many people, and I totally agree what they said about it. And it's very, very true. And for example, he said that like Rockefeller said, uh, friendship found on business is better than business found on friendship. And why is that true? It's because having a friendship is pretty fucking easy. But doing business together is not easy because you have to go through so much stress, so much challenges together, and you must go through them. Otherwise, that will not work. So if you can do business together, you can definitely be great friends. And then he introduced also that there's different levels of friendship that you can have. Mm, yeah. So my learning is that before you do business with anyone, like let's say that one point. So you should put everything in writing and front load discomfort. So you talk about the uncomfortable stuff up front with them. And if you can do this, if you cannot do this, it's better not to do business with them. And so yeah, my learning is that before you do business with anyone, Know the level of friends you are with them, put everything in writing, and front load the discomfort of discussing the edge cases on what will happen if this happens. And the steps are on how to do this is that like before you do business with anyone, all right, what do? First, know the level of friendship you have. So the levels of friendship, level one is that you talk about the past. Two is to talk about others, kind of gossiping. Three, you talk about ideas. Four, you talk about ideas and you can execute the ideas. And five, you can make, lose, and spend money, and you will stay friends. So you should be doing business with someone of the kind, the five. Uh, the lower levels, the more lower the level is, the more likely things will go wrong. Okay. Next is that you want to put everything in writing. So say to them that, hey, I want to put everything in writing because the last thing I would want to do is to upset you because of something that I didn't want to do and you expected me to do that. And if they say okay, then you do business. If they say no, then you don't have to do business. Um, and then the last is that when you're putting everything in writing, you want to discuss all the edge cases. So front load the discomfort. So you say like, what if I die? What if you die? What if I don't want to do this anymore? What if you don't want to do this anymore? What if you cheat? What if I cheat? Da da da. You go through all these things. What if I cheat? Cheat in this way? What happens? What if you cheat in this way? What happens? And you go through all those cases. What will happen after that? You put it in writing, and then you can do business. I'm just confirming that I got everything. Yeah, then you sign a contract. Last step.